Philippine 경기장 도시형.
Well, guys, here we are on Game 1 between StarTale and TSL, and up at the top of the map, leading off for the team StarTale in the blue, playing Protoss is Ace. Ironically, the Ace going first. And down in the lower left part of the map, in the red from the team TSL, it is a quite strong Zerg player. That grammatically didn't make any sense, but nevertheless, it is TSL.Revival.
Yes, PvZ action to kick things off here on Atlantis Spaceship, and this has been, I think, of the new maps that were thrown in, this has been the most fun and dynamic map of the ones that we've seen. It helps that it was made by the GSL map maker, so...
Yeah, Jackie Prime's awesome, man.
Yeah.
He makes great maps.
Yeah, and I'm glad he really got involved in our contest as well. It was really cool to see.
Definitely. So, Revival, one of the things I always like to mention with Revival is that, you know, that's really cool. They have that little base with the one gas. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before, actually.
This? No. You know why? Because this is a different version of the map. This is not the IPL version.
Oh.
Aha!
Dun, 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 dun.
So it adds another base.
Well, that's cool. All right, so there's another base on there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know, being a Korean map, there's probably tons of versions hanging out at the Korean server. Still has the 9 question mark Vespin geyser, though.
I was checking. I was like, I wonder what else is different.
And as Joshy and I discovered, that is where the female/unit/Ursadak cap female 2 or whatever on the other map comes from. It's from that 9 question mark Vespin geyser. But going back to what I was originally going to talk about like 45 seconds ago now.
Yes.
It'd be cool to see Revival do sort of his old school Revival play. I mean, back in the day, this guy loved doing all sorts of drop play against all races, and he's kind of moved away from that. But every time I see him play, I kind of have this like hope deep inside that we'll see something like that again. We'll see, though.
Yeah, Ace actually opting for Nexus first here. This is an extremely large map. The walk distance from point A to point B is very, very long, so it is certainly possible to pull something like that off.
Yep. He's pretty safe in doing something like that here. Obviously, we're going to see TSL.Revival not going for the hatchery first. Doesn't matter how big the map is. It's always a little bit dangerous to do that against Protoss just because of the danger of being cannon rushed. So in that regard, Revival will be slightly behind Ace early on economically, but it's nothing that you can't handle by taking a quick third. In fact, we've seen a lot of Zerg players skip getting gas in order to take a fast third base against Protoss, and this is a great map to do just that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is not too hard to take a third, even a fourth, once you're able to establish the natural and move up to the rich Vespian Geyser. I'm sorry, the 9 question mark Vespian Geyser base that's sitting in the middle.
Wouldn't that be something if Zerg started taking their third at that base? That'd be interesting.
I wondered if this map, you know, starts making it into not just our tournament, but other tournaments as well, and becomes a little bit more standard, if we'll see builds built around that. I love maps that have components of the map that lead to strategies utilizing just that portion of the map. Not something that's imbalanced like rotational symmetry or something like that, but actual features of the map that are utilized in builds.
Yeah, definitely could see things like that in the future. I think it'd be... I always like it when a map has an effect on the play. You know, when it kind of forces a player to play in a certain way, I think that adds a lot of cool variety to the game. So, wouldn't be surprised at all. We saw lots of crazy stuff in Brood War maps. We saw lots of ledges behind the mineral line, but there were ways to kind of get up there and defend it, you know, but yet if you were careless, you could take damage from that. So there's all kinds of stuff that we saw in Brood War maps that we haven't seen yet in StarCraft 2, and I think as the game develops, as people get better, we're going to ideally see some of that stuff start to pop up.
And we do indeed have that third base we were talking about before coming up for Revival. Ace has
right.
already seen it, though. He had that second probe running around, trying to get that back home at the moment. 2 more Zerglings coming out. They'll do a little more damage, but that probe will get back home behind the safe confines of his cannon. Well,
everybody's going to be scouting for that third base now. I mean, it's become so common in ZVP that, you know, every Protoss worth his salt is going to be out there looking for it. So the big question now is, what is Ace going to go into after this? Obviously, he's going to take out that Overlord. Once the Overlord is gone, what sort of tech will he choose? He's already going for the +1 weapons. And if Revival's lucky, he's going to see that with the Overlord. He's going to see the Forge working before it dies.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's quite getting close enough. Nope, didn't quite see
enough.
it. But he can just run up with the Zergling, obviously, and see that. But so 3 more gateways on the way for Ace. So we're going to have a total of 4 gates. Are we going to see maybe a Stargate added in there? See some sort of Zealot Void Ray pressure on the third? Or, you know, are we going to see him add like a Twilight Council on there and go for Blink right away and a couple more gateways? There's a couple options, a couple avenues Ace can take here. It'll be interesting to see which one he decides to go with.
Now, he's just sitting on 2 Vespian Geysers at the moment. Yes, he has quite a bit of gas banked, but he'll work through that pretty quick if he decides to, you know, invest in a lot of tech. And we'll see. Oh, it's a Twilight Council. Looks like that's the path he's going down at the moment. And he already has a Stalker and a Probe heading down to the bottom there. Not too many Zerglings out on the field right now. But they're all in the right place to go ahead and hold this off.
Oh, and he's going to need to cancel that pylon as well, too. I don't think that it's going to end up solving. Oh, 2 pylons. He's really committed to this. This could end up being a little bit of a quick pressure early on, or this could very well be a fake by Ace, too, to kind of get Revival to produce more units, make him think this is going to be a bigger attack than it is. We see some units warping in here, though, so he is going to go for it.
Yeah, we already see another 10 Lings being added in as well. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like a little bit of an attack coming in now with these +1 Zealots. They rip through Zerglings so fast, and the Spinecrawler is going to go down before it's ever able to get out. The Queen's going to probably fall here in just a second as well. So very, very nice little play here from Ace. Even though this may have been nothing more than a little bit of a fake, it still does some damage. I see some red up in Ace's... oh, wow. Actually, this is just going to straight up kill this base.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is one of those deceptively strong little pokes that Protoss can do right now. The +1 Zealots just tear apart Zerglings. So if you don't have Roaches ready, you're going to take a ton of damage from this. And Revival, as you can see, was not ready excuse me, for this from StarTale Ace.
No, he was not. A couple of Zealots are eventually going to fall here, but look at that. Even a Roach getting shot down as well. So, oh, and here comes Revival with a few additional Roaches to reinforce with 7 more on the way. So these units are going to have to hightail it out of town here in just a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's not turning around and fighting, actually. There's no way that his Zealots can run away from the Roaches. And even if he loses all of these Zealots, it's still completely worth it. I mean, he killed the 3rd base at a very low cost as well. So, StarTale Ace way ahead right now, even on bases with the Zerg opponent. He's got +2 and Blink on the way. He's going up to 7 gateways, so I think we're going to see a really strong 2-base, 7-gate timing from him to follow this up. And after your opponent's down on 2 bases, that's like the perfect time to do it. Everything is going Ace's way in this game.
Now, what I was going to say, though, beforehand was that there was some red inside of Ace's natural.
I think it was just an Overlord, wasn't it?
He was able, no, as you can see, the Photon Cannon's actually taken a little bit of permanent damage there. So a few Zerglings snuck on through. They did some damage to the Photon Cannon, but it didn't do a whole lot. Obviously, the focus of the action was sitting down at the 3rd of Revival.
Yep. That's right. So, speaking of Revival, he's going for his Roach speed right now. He's trying to get +1 weapons up, and he's also going for Burrow, too. And this is a... excuse me, man, I don't know why I'm coughing so much lately. 'Tis the season, I guess.
Don't give me the plague, please.
No, I think it's... I don't know, I'm allergic to something in San Francisco.
It's probably me.
I don't know if it's the great weather, the great food, but something just doesn't agree with my harsh Minnesota upbringing, so Minnesota, Wisconsin upbringing. But... back to the game. Revival is trying to get his Roach army ready as fast as possible, but this is a very, very difficult position to come back from, and oh, that's not too good. Great force fields from Ace. Things looking grim for Revival right now.
Really were great force fields, as a matter of fact. He didn't lose a single unit right there, and a lot of the energy gone, yes, but he cut those Roaches in half. I mean, that was a huge amount of damage done. We do have another 9 Roaches coming up. A lot of upgrades on the way as well. Don't believe... let's see here. I'm not sure where the Observer is actually floating around at, as Burrow is going to be on the way here pretty soon.
Now, it was situations like this that caused Zerg players such as Moonglade to start going for a burrowed movement before speed. Because you could go under force fields, you could get away. Even though it was slower, you can kind of deal with this a little bit easier. But Revival, as you can see, going for just straight up burrow right away. He's trying to kind of hang back, trying to get as many Roaches out as he can before the attack really needs to be dealt with. But it's a difficult situation.
Looked like Ace was posturing over to the 3rd, maybe trying to draw some units out. It looks like he did. Throws down a couple of force fields, but the Roaches were able to move their way around. However, a lot of them go down right away, and these +2 attack units are so strong right now. Stalker's starting to rip through those Roaches. Blink is in play as well, and it looks like Ace is going to have enough to dispatch to the front line of Roaches here. We'll see if reinforcements are enough to be able to eventually push him away, but regardless, he's done a lot of damage.
Yep, he's victory blinking here, and even with the Burrow healing up some of those Roaches, it is just not going to be enough for Revival. Ace definitely going to take this first game.
Yeah, it looks like all the drones pulled off the line now. All of them, I tell you! Take a look as the workers killed runs up. All of the drones? 16 drones killed now. 55 supply to 101. 20 more Lings on the way, but it's not even enough to kill the front line of Stalkers. There's GG. And StarTale.Ace does take game number 1 of this best of 9.
Yep, so a nice effort by Revival, but Ace just really had Revival's number in that game.